Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members and city officials, and also our home audience. I'd like to welcome you to our May 9th City Council meeting. We have two items on the agenda this evening. Mr. Schofield, if you would, please continue with the roll call of the members.
Carty.
Here.
Clay.
Here.
Corcoran.
Here.
Marino.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Neal. Patrick.
Here.
Roll.
Here.
Captain. Here.
Thank you. If everybody would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schofield, if you would, the minutes of the previous meeting have been distributed for review. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes? Mr. Clay, seconded by Mrs. Corcoran. Roll call on the motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Carty.
Yes.
Clay.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Marino.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Roll.
Yes.
Captain. Yes.
And the minutes have been accepted. Before we get into our reports from our committees, we have a guest this evening, Mr. Nick Tepe, correct? Would like to make an announcement. He's with the local Ross County Library, correct?
Yes.
Okay, please help yourself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arnold. My name is Nick Tepe. I'm the director of the Chillicothe and Ross County Public Library, and I'm here to talk very briefly tonight about a program we are running throughout the month of May called One Community, One Book. The intention of this is to be a community-wide read of a single book. The book is Dreamland by Sam Quinones. He is a reporter from the LA Times, and he wrote this book as he was researching the spread of the heroin epidemic throughout the country. His investigations took him to southern Ohio, where he discovered the connection between the heroin epidemic that was spreading everywhere and the opiate prescription pill mill situation that we had here in southern Ohio, and that unfortunately we're all far too familiar with. By reading this book together as a community and hosting discussions around this book, it's our hope that we as a community are going to find ways to help ourselves to overcome the problems that are facing us. We are hosting book discussions throughout the month of May. Our first one is going to be tomorrow night, May 10th, at the Main Library Annex, the old Central Elementary School building behind Main Library. We'll also be hosting a discussion on May 24th at the Northside Branch Library. OU Chillicothe is going to be hosting a noon brown bag luncheon discussion on May 18th, and we are going to wrap up the month with a visit by the author on May 26th. Council, you will all be receiving invitations to a reception with the author around noon on the 26th, and the main event of the day will be the author doing a talk and signing books at the Majestic starting at 7 o'clock that night. So I hope that you all have a chance to get a hold of a copy of this book. We're currently sold out, but we're expecting new copies coming in hopefully tomorrow. You'll be able to pick those up at Main or at the Northside Library. Read the book, tell all your friends about it, and come to the discussions to participate in this program, which I think is brand new to Chillicothe. I don't think we've ever done anything like this here before. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming in. I've heard of the book actually several months ago. Unfortunately, I haven't read it yet. But this is, I think, a great thing for the community to put something like this together. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Moving on, reports of committees. Do we have any committee reports currently? Okay. Mr. Tapman?
Thank you, President Arnold. On the agenda tonight, and I know it's so long that I hate to, add any measures to it, but the item number 1 is up for a third reading. I'm requesting again not to read.
Okay, very good. Anything else? Okay, Mrs. Wilson?
Yes, the Park and Rec Committee has the only item left on the agenda this evening, and for council to hereby appropriate $7,327.25 from the unappropriated recreation swim pool fund in order to carry forward pool maintenance donations from 2015. And I'd also like to report that we had Arbor Day in the city park. We had, I think, approximately 240 fourth graders from Chillicothe schools that got to hear from several different people, learn about snakes, trees, recycling, have a brown bag lunch. It was a little cold and they were all very attentive, and I think that everyone enjoyed the day. I'd like to thank the Chillicothe Tree Commission for hosting this event and all the other participants in our day. It was a successful afternoon, so I'd like to thank everyone involved. And that's it.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Clyde?
Thank you, President Arnold. City Services does not have an item on the agenda tonight, but I am in receipt of assignment number 16-049. This is a request from the Mayor's Office for legislation to authorize the City of Chillicothe to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation annual winter contract for road salt. This is an annual item. It's really just a matter of housekeeping for us, but we will be meeting on Wednesday, the 11th, at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. I brought to my attention that was left off of the email I sent out, so just so that everybody knows, we will be here in Council Chambers. And that concludes my report.
Very good. Any other committee? Yes, Mr. Florian.
Yes, thank you, President Arnold. We have Safety Services has no items, but I would like to comment on a meeting that we had last week on some upcoming things. It was a two-part. One was an assignment looking at the holistic parking downtown. I think it was a very informative. We had some members of 4th Street as well as members of council with some really solid input. I was able to go to the Downtown Development Commission parking and bring those. And we discussed a lot of items that were coming to a point where there are going to be some additional recommendations made and brought to council. So that went very well. Second item on that, we also had Chief Washburn in on the issue of replacing a canine unit. One of our canines were retired, and we did need to replace it. There was an opportunity to purchase a dog, which they went ahead and did, because the state highway patrol is able to train the dog for free, which is at least a $5,000 savings, which is significant. In that meeting, prior to that, I talked to Alicia Gray. She had a couple of questions, and they were good ones, as far as sustainability of the animal. And we have, through some local help, really large step up from North Fork Animal Clinic that will do the regular canine visits for the vet at no cost to the city, which is incredible.
That's great.
And again, another tip of the hat to Petland, they will feed the dog. So we will not have to, so as far as feeding and regular routine vet visits, those will be handled for the life of the dog. So that'll be great. The legislation will be upcoming as far as that's concerned. And that concludes my report.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Coetzee.
Thank you, President Arnold. The Land Bank Committee had a meeting today with the Ross County Commissioners, and the Commissioners have agreed to incorporate the Land Bank in Ross County, which is very good news. So I'd like to thank the Ross County Commissioners, President Caldwell, Commissioners Corcoran, and Neal for their cooperation and taking the time out to meet with us today. The formal resolutions will be passed by them in the coming weeks, and basically, for those who haven't been following, the land bank is a way that the city of Chillicothe can take advantage of federal money to demolish some abandoned properties within the city. I'll be having a meeting sometime next week, but to work out some of the details. But I just need to work out some people's schedules so that we can find an agreeable time for everyone. I'll be sending that out once we have a date laid out. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have any committee reports at this time? If not, we'll move to reports from officials. Mayor Luke Feeney is typically the first person to report, and you've really changed appearance in a few months being in office.
I hope I look younger. I hope I know you're wrong with that, sir.
At any rate, staff is our city service director, Jeff Carmen.
Carmen. Yes.
And you're welcome. You want to give us any kind of updates or say anything this evening?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And on item number 1, we appreciate tabling that. We're still working out solutions on that with the engineering department. With school year coming to an end, it'll kind of give us the summer a little bit to take a good look at that so we can come up with the best possible solution down there. Item number 2, we support that legislation. We would also support waiving the 3 read rule so we can get that money put in the budget so we can get it put in the pool so we can get the pool up and running. We're looking at starting to fill the pool on May 11th so we can have it up and running about a week and a half before the actual open date. So if there's any issues, we can get them ironed out before that. Hopefully, people noticed that, I can't remember the exact date, but we had a day of caring where about 30 city employees went out and we pulled weeds, 2nd Street parking lot and the parking lot up the street here, and also the whole downtown. We did some mulching and I think the city looks really nice for them, and I appreciate the employees going out with us and helping us do that. The paving project continues. We just moved down into the east end now. Hopefully we'll get that wrapped up here before too long, and then we can start what I guess we're calling phase 2 of it. We got some meetings hopefully this week to get to the bottom of that. Mr. Neal read about the salt contract. I would just like to add that there's a May 27th deadline on that, so we can get the state contract on that. That would help us out. And last but certainly not least, July 4th will be here before we know it. I met with our safety forces chiefs today. We're talking about setting up a command center down in the park this year with all the people down there. Hope to set it up over by the pool so that way if there's any issues or anything, we'll have immediate access down to those people into the park. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. I had a pleasure having you in anytime you'd like to come, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Our auditor, Miss Crystal Stutnagel.
I just wanted to point out on item 2 on tonight's agenda that is just an appropriation of $7,327. It's a carry forward for full donations from 2015 and not a request for additional funding. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you very much. I see absent is Miss Rutherford this evening. I have a few things I'd like to bring up, if I can, please. Update on Mr. Fawson. I talked to him this afternoon. He's getting better. He said last week was a good improvement week for him, but he still feels that he's a little bit slow on recovery. He's still going to be out for a little while longer. He is going to visit his doctor tomorrow, I guess, and find out where he goes from here as far as getting into rehabilitation. And but he's doing good. He's doing well. I also wanted to make a remark about the street patching and paving. I see the paving going on from street to street and in different locations. I've been gone myself for the last week and came back, and I just wanted to say I think the patching's going pretty well too. I know there for a while the potholes were cropping up like dandelions, and all in all, I know they're still out there, but the patching, I've been up and down various streets, and I see the holes that have been recently patched. They're patched well, they're smooth, and so I know it's tough to keep up with, but what I see, I think it's going well. So I'd like to say kudos to your department. You're doing well. I have one other thing, and that is I have an appointment that was actually initiated back with my predecessor, Ms. Elenardo, for an appointment to the Income Tax Abatement Board. She had selected Ms. Randy Uri, who agreed to have that position. We haven't formally ran it through council here to make that appointment. And I would like for us to take a vote to affirm that appointment if possible.
I'll make that motion too.
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll will make the motion and seconded by Mr. Florina. So if we would, we'll take a vote on affirming Ms. Euring's appointment.
Martine,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And so we have affirmed her appointment. And that's all I have at this time. That brings us to audience participation. I have a sign-in sheet, which I don't know anybody on it, but that still doesn't mean you can't talk. As Council Rule 21 does limit each speaker to 5-minute presentation and a total of limitation of 15 minutes per subject. When you get close to your 5 minutes, I will wave my finger at you and silently indicate that you have a minute remaining and give you some time to summarize your presentation. Anyone who wishes to speak, just please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address, please, and feel free to speak, please.
Yeah, my name is William Barnhart, 373 McKellar. The main reason I'm here tonight is a building on the northeast corner of Mulberry and Maine. I'd say a year ago, the window fell out on the east side and did $1,500 worth of damage to the VFW van. Bricks still fall off this building every day into their parking lot. And I'd never walked down that side of the street. The other day I called my councilwoman, Patrick, told him that there was a board ready to fall off the building that was only about 30 foot high on the sidewalk side of the building, which would have been nice if someone would have been walking down, especially somebody visiting our beautiful town and seeing this building there. But I got to looking at the building, and in my opinion, there's at least 3 windows on the sidewalk side of that building that are ready to fall out. And you can look at the roof. I'd say the owner hasn't done anything to that building in 40 years. The roof is leaking. I'd have to say the whole top floor's rotted out. So if you want people to come to this city, I would condemn that building, or at least have him do something to it so it doesn't kill somebody. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Barnhart.
You're welcome.
Anybody else in the audience have anything to add this evening? If not, we'll move on to old business. Does anybody have any old business they'd like to discuss? Okay, not seeing any. Ask the clerk, do you have any petitions or correspondence?
We received a notice from the Division of Liquor Control asking if we have any objection to the transfer from Edward East and West LLC doing business as Bub's Timeout Sports Bar to Blue E Chip Management at 66 North Main Street with a return date of June 6th.
Okay, that's all. Thank you. At this time, is there any new business that, yes, Ms. Patrick?
I'm following up with our clerk. On that form, if you look below the code, you'll see where they've got some check boxes that we need to decide if we're going to object to this or not object. So at the next council meeting, I'd like to ask for a motion so we can go ahead and officially, vote on this so Mr. Schofield can send it off to Columbus.
Okay. Any other new business? Yes, Mrs. Gray?
Thank you, President Arnold. I would like to entertain a motion at this time to excuse Mrs. Neal.
We have a motion to excuse Mrs. Neal, seconded by Mr. Clay. Roll call on the motion to excuse Mrs. Neal.
Martine,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
this point, we've excused Mrs. Neal. Any other, we should probably also excuse Mr. Folsom from his position as well. Have a motion, Mr. Florina, okay. Seconded by Mr. Prohl. Roll call on that motion, please.
Carteen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And we have excused Mr. Folsom as well. Any other new business? Not. Moving on to committee assignments and meeting dates. I only had one assignment since our last meeting, and it was for item number 49 that has been mentioned. That was for us to participate in the salt bidding for this upcoming winter. And as far as meeting dates, again, he already mentioned he's going to have a meeting on that assignment, and that will be this Wednesday, 6 o'clock here in the chambers. On the calendar for the month, tomorrow is nuisance abatement at 4 o'clock. That will be held in the city conference building. Pardon?
2:30.
Is it 2:30? I heard 4 o'clock. Okay, nuisance abatement, 2:30 across the street in the administration building. Planning commission at 4:30 on Wednesday in the city building in the conference room. Next Tuesday on the 17th is the tree commission at 5 o'clock. On the 18th, on Wednesday, is Parks and Recreation at 5 o'clock. And the Design Review Board will meet on Thursday, the 19th at 4:30. And that's all I show as far as meetings between now and our next council meeting. With all that, at this point, we move on to our legislation. And we are not reading item number 1. Okay. You want a motion for not reading
Yes.
item 1? And seconded by Mrs. Gray. Roll call on the motion not to read item number 1.
Carteen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
So we will not read item 1, we move on to item number 2.
An ordinance appropriating $7,327.25 to carry forward pool and maintenance donations from 2015 and declaring emergency. First reading.
Mrs. Corcoran,
Yes, President Arnold, at this time I'd like to ask to waive the 3-read rule.
I have a motion to waive the 3-read rule, seconded by Mrs. Patrick. Roll call on the motion to waive the 3-read rule.
Carteen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
We've waived the 3-read rule. Now roll call on the ordinance, please.
Carteen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And that ordinance has passed. At this point, that concludes our business. I see hands going up. I have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Farina, seconded by Mrs. Gray. Roll call on the motion to adjourn.
Carteen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Florina,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Concludes our business. We'll get adjourned. Have a good evening.